This is gonna throw gas on the flame that is my channel right now. I seriously am staring down the barrel of a gun that is the animation community. Spetchy, she's a different breed. She knows how to get away with tracing. She did for a long time, but you got caught. Let me check this, because it looks super suspicious, and it turns out she does! Now you may be asking yourself, did Foster just expose Wolfie for tracing? Katsune has some enormous fallacies in herself and her content that are just, ugh. I don't like how she's been acting, or the false sense of insecurity that she gives people, but I will address it.
As a commentator, ranter, or really anything that involves you talking about other people, it just feels so good when you expose or call out someone for their poor actions. Especially when you show proof that's super hard if not impossible to deny after so much research. But for Foster's case, it just falls flat. But we'll talk more about that later. So, who is this Foster that I'm talking about in this video? Formerly known as Foster the Gorillas, he's a commentator / reviewer who has about 7,300 subscribers as of me making this video. He's well known for his reviews, most of them being on animated storytellers. Before making these kinds of videos, he said that he has made rants before, but didn't like how negative they were, so he shifted to reviews.
Hey, what happened to the rants? Well, quick explanation. I realized that the rants were a little bit too negative. I'm deciding to do the review as an aspect to sort of bring up instead of bring down. I'll be expanding to music and also to reviewing YouTubers. Even if the topics I bring up are negative, it isn't to be destructive towards the other people, as an acknowledgement of the situation and as an overall outlook of the person / musician in question.
None of these rants are public anymore, so the first video of his you can see is the Torches review that came out in late July. He got his first rise to fame when he made 2 videos talking about the whole Fox Goodman controversy. And don't forget about Matt Spicer because he's also Fox Goodman. And once more when he made a video talking about whether or not Speechy is tracing. Since then, Foster has been in a lot of controversy. This has mainly occurred due to him showing flimsy and or subjective proof, assuming he failed to provide proof at all. So yeah, that's a thing, but if you look deeper, you'll find more than you think about him. I'll be addressing all these problems with Foster and what he does. Like, what else am I supposed to say?
What we do here is go back.
So as Foster made more and more videos, he tries to find anything to complain about, like Wolfie Shush making these provocative thumbnails.
I just have to say,
ass, titties, ass and titties, ass.
She uses sex appeal to attract an audience. Using sexualized versions of her character in suggestive poses. Here's a tip. Don't use your body for views. That's just a very bad thing to do. Just for views. You can see a clear difference in her content between when she clickbaits and when she doesn't. So don't be surprised if there's more Rule 34 of you than Jaden Animation. I also want to see you not clickbait yourself, since it's misleading and it seems like you want to have porn made of you.
Who cares about people drawing NSFW of a character? You seem to make it a bigger deal than it should be. He also likes to throw in the lazy or low effort argument as if it actually means a thing.
My first impressions of Wolfie Chu is that she is lazy. Just like all the other popular animators. No need to put in any effort or any of that, you know. They're just really lazy, or it was just a lack of talent from her. In my opinion, all of them are still lazy, and they have been, basically. There will be more nitpicks and complaints over her laziness in these rushed videos, which seems kind of lazy. Each character should have had a background accompanying their personality, like Yuri having the velvet royal purple with fancy designs. It's rushed, and it's forced. It's not supposed to be a finished product if you don't want to put any effort into it. If you don't want to put any effort into it, might as well just scrap the whole thing. Leading some sort of a somewhat lazy revolution of animated storytime videos. In the modern era, he's gone towards hiring a crew of fans to animate and color his videos. He had to have people do this for him to add minimal animation. Word of advice for the future, make original thumbnails out of these for each one instead of copying and pasting to be lazy.
Foster, effort means absolutely nothing to the result. I could put in the same amount of work as Tim Tom on an animation, but I could make something on the level of Harry Partridge, while old Tim makes a 2-frame gif of a stickman bouncing. Now you can say it looks lazy, and you're entitled to that opinion. But don't treat it as if it actually means a dang thing, because, well, it means absolutely nothing. He's also mad over the fact that Jaden Animations and Boy in a Band make jokes.
David and Jaden are just making very wrong jokes that just disgust me and others with it, because they talk so nonchalantly about Jaden's mental disability. It's shocking to see what kind of stuff they say, because it completely contradicts the feelings that she had in her face reveal video.
It was also like wasting time, and I was like not feeling good. It's like I got other stuff to do than like eat and then go throw up and like it takes a long time.
That's the reason to quit.
I was just really tired of it.
I've got games to play, man.
I've got YouTube videos to make.
Are you honestly this whiny and sensitive that you will be disgusted that they are making jokes from mental suffering that Jaden healed from about a year ago? Yeah, we can't make jokes about some mental suffering that you healed from a year ago and you feel much better with talking about, Nah, if you do make jokes about you're a scummy, disgusting human being. A much bigger example is on his review on The Odd Ones Out, which is him complaining about anything he can find, ranging from saying, this stuff ain't relatable.
I feel like you have truly lost drive for your own channel, and you have run out of life stories as well. You're not able to think of anything new, and I can see your shift in storytelling as you can see that you went from things that people can relate about to things that many people can't really relate about. Your content shifted from a wide range of targets to very small target demographic. As an example, many of your fans didn't grow up with cable. They grew up with YouTube. I grew up with, and I'm old enough to drive, and your fan base probably most likely won't remember cable, because they never grew up with it. Along with this video about wrong numbers, it is likely his child fan base has never had a wrong number call, which is probably because their age ranges from 7 to 13 for most of them. They're more than likely not going to know what the hell you're on about whenever you're talking about wrong numbers and cable. I see that he's ridding himself of his child fan base, or really attempting to, but his target demographic is pretty much lost.
Maybe to you it's not, but it's gotten a lot of views, so it has to have connected with the audience. He also treats James's opinions on clones like he's being ridiculous, and he says to discourage them.
And now emerges the odd clones. People like Tim Tom, Fox Goodspicer, and people like all of these children that I can totally say completely rip off the Odd Ones Out style, both storytelling and art. I can only say that the Odd Ones Out apparently likes mediocrity. As seen in this interview with Fox Goodman's video, he seems to like clones.
I like clone channels so much that I put them in the background of my videos. So I don't see why people are attacking them just because they're quote unquote copying me. I'm pro clone. I think if 50 people were clone channels of me, that would be good.
One thing that James can do to prevent this saturation is through discouraging copies and clones.
Don't say that. Say something like to encourage them to be more original, because it sounds like you want them to stop entirely. There's a lot more I could say about this video, but that's not what I'm trying to aim for in this video. And the most notable example is in his Katsune video. He talks about how Katsune is lying about her stories on how being gay was forbidden in her school. Why is that, you ask? Well, here's his explanation.
First off, Katsune talks about how there's always something forbidden about being gay.
There is always something forbidden about being gay. Maybe it's because it's considered the other sexuality, or maybe because it's considered a sin by some. Either way, it was always this taboo subject that you just can't be.
Newsflash, Katsune, this isn't Salem in the 1700s. You are falsifying the fact that being gay has its forbidden sides in modern society. Sure, it may have been forbidden in the past, where being gay is widely accepted. And you are 18 and talk about how there's some stuff forbidden about being gay. You honestly have no idea. In a car trip, me and my mom talked about my distant grandpa, who was gay in the 1940s. Now, I'll let you think. He had to get beat, he got bullied, and threatened to be killed every day. But in the late 2010s, people can hardly be treated like that. Maybe a minimal use of derogatory terms, but I don't want to hear it, Katsune. Don't get all self-righteous.
Now that is true. Gay figures have been more and more accepted into society over the years. But that doesn't mean it's no longer considered a sin. There are still people who hate the LGBT. There is a Wikipedia article talking about the extreme attacks against the LGBT just because they were LGBT in more recent years like the 2010s. Just because hating on them is not as extreme in society today doesn't mean it's all gone. You are being delusional, thinking this couldn't possibly happen to Katsune. Now, let's get to a certain part I want to discuss about Foster.
What we do here is go back.
Foster really wants to do all he can to expose someone for their bad actions. Any little thing, and I mean any little thing he can find on them, he will put it on the title and act like he's caught a criminal in the works. This also leads to another problem with him, and that's his inability to show proof. But when he does, it's out of context or just vague. Take for example his Speechy video, where the title is saying if she does or does not trace. It's a 14-minute long video and he talks about her potential tracing for less than a minute.
I have two photos to show that you heavily trace and reference these pictures. You can assume for yourself, she made this Asian woman, and she had traced the picture, mainly the body shape and the face, and then after it, stretched it to avoid reverse image search. Later on, she traced her thumbnail for dealing with being overweight. Traced from WikiHow. She seems to have avoided it, and she's getting better at getting away with it than Fox Godspicer.
It's just, hey, look at these pictures that overlap. Speechy is tracing. Now, let's go to his WolfieTrue video titled WolfieTrue Traced?
But I will review some of her art from her DeviantArt. Just give me a few. I just scroll down to the bottom of her page, and I see some very realistic drawings, pencil drawings of YouTubers. Let me check this, because it looks super suspicious, because if I line up this image of Jordan Sweeto, then the drawing right here, I overlay them, they match exactly. So there's that one, plus this one, and this one, and this one. And don't bring up that photo study bullcrap, because this is not under a photo study. So please refrain from commenting this. It's just evident that she has used others' images and copied it and used it as her own, which is plagiarism. So WolfieTrue is either one or the other, or both, a tracer and a plagiarist.
So as you see, it's the same thing as his Speechy video. Oh, pictures that overlap with these drawings. But he fails to address two things. One, the username KZEX, which was actually her former DeviantArt username, but he didn't address that. And I think I butchered the name, but I don't care. And two, these pictures were from 2013 to 2014. Now you may say, she's still traced, and I agree with that. You can still be criticized for things you did in the past. But WolfieTrue has changed throughout the years and has made her own art style. His Billy But Better video was actually pretty good. He showed the proof to his points and showed that Billy had an ego going on. There are a few things I disagree on though. One of them is this clip.
And he is always talking about how great he is and how everyone cares about how many subscribers you have.
In my opinion, I don't think I have too much trouble talking to girls in real life.
When in all reality, it's just a number.
You're criticizing him for a visual gag. The video on Oh my gosh it's James 252, terrible username by the way, is just meh. It's just a bunch of rambling without showing any proof to the claims you said except for these two clips on these two timestamps. Now his Katsune videos, which were his absolute worst videos, In his first video, he tries to expose Katsune. All he had was a screenshot about Katsune using her brain injury to deflect any problems. Other than that, he just decided to take the word of someone else and treat it as fact without anything to help with the claims that was brought.
I researched this and talked to multiple people. I am sorry that I have minimal evidence to support most of this, since most of this is word of mouth. Next, I would like to bring up her Discord controversy. So as many of you may know, Katsune used to have a Discord server. I heard through the grapevine, and through a few more sources, I found that Katsune had a dumpster fire of a Discord server. Now, on June 28th this year, Katsune announced that on her Discord server, I looked at the sites, and they say, with proper treatment, that she should have recovered from her symptoms in approximately 3 months, give or take a few weeks.
I got my concussion on January 27th, and today is April 9th.
But then you have an excuse for closing her Discord server, being that it triggers her migraines. But that simply is not true based on the facts that I've been seeing. We have
January 27th
to the end of June, which is almost exactly 5 months, which is an estimated 2 months after she should have recovered, which seems unreasonable. But I will say, maybe it's a special case of hers, but that's quite rare seeing as it's a very high recovery rate. But she did leave the server. I heard from somebody that she left only 1 or 2 people in charge. From what I've heard, that they were forced to shut down the abandoned server, and that it seems to be because she can't take criticism and controversy is starting to catch up with her. Anyways, on to the final controversy that I've been told about, scamming her patrons on Patreon. Now, there isn't a whole lot of evidence to suggest this, but she had a Patreon that people donated to. Now it's gone. But I've heard that all the rewards that she was supposed to give out were never given. But I heard that she was using her Patreon to pay off her parents for buying her Cintiq drawing tablet. I do see how she basically scammed her supporters out of their benefits, which is something that I have a humongous problem with. You don't make excuses like my PCS is acting up. I see that video is from June 26, around the same time that you deleted your Discord server. You had the Patreon link in your About tab, and the day after that video was made, it was gone. I wonder where it went, but it's gone from there. Also, I'm not sure if she even attempted to reward her supporters. I would be completely insulted if you didn't give them the rewards that they deserve, because that is scam and deceptive practices.
And as you see, he got a lot of flack for it, and he said he was going to make a part 2, proving that he was right. When you have evidence against someone and you have to show it, you shouldn't have to make a part 2 to retry it. You need to prove it right in the first place. The only reason why you would make a part 2 is because there was too much information to fit in one video. But this is not the case. So how was that part 2? Well... yeah, about 9 minutes of it was just an interview with someone that claimed to be a mod on Katsune's server, but there's no proof that the person was indeed a mod.
So she used her concussion and it was kind of like... she sort of...
before the concussion.
So was she kind of using it as an excuse for not talking to you guys, but even though she wouldn't talk to you guys before?
Yeah. She would never talk to us. It was funny because she was talking about how much the server stressed her out when she never used it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she didn't want to deal with it, she didn't want to deal with the server, or she didn't want to deal with her fans, she didn't want to talk to them, so she just blamed it on a concussion. Kind of weird. She kept going on about how unfun the server was for her. A little further down the line of the second server, I managed to get mod. And it was like 5 people using the server. It was so sad. She didn't want to use it, no one else wanted to use it. That was that. Right? She never uses the server. You could ping her, you could DM her, she never responds to anything.
I wonder why.
Me too, man. It was really weird. I pretty much ran the server by my own.
Yeah.
She would not communicate with her mods at all. She would come on every now and again and just say one word and then leave.
Yeah. Like the announcements.
Right. She came on that day, said something, and then left. She remembered that. And then like 3 months after this event, she comes back and pings everyone and says, you know what? This server has been really weird and stressful for me. It's been a little anti-Semitic too, and I just can't condone this.
And we're still stuck with the same vague screenshots that were talking about how Katsune doesn't use her own Discord server. And I gotta say 2 things. 1, you're once again just taking the word of someone else and treating it as fact with no further proof to your claims. Secondly, who cares? What's the big deal over someone not using their own server? If they aren't gonna use it, then just whatever. You're desperately trying to find anything to expose Katsune. And as for the Patreon part, that's
So I need to do this as routine, but you consent to me using screenshots as evidence in my Katsune video. Oh yeah, absolutely. I can talk in a few hours if that's okay. People tell me that I need to provide more evidence in my video. I will give them more evidence. If you can provide any proof that you are a patron, I'd appreciate it. If there aren't any direct screen caps, then that's fine too. I'm sure I can find emails somewhere, but other mods knew I did $40 a month. Alright, so I deleted most of my Patreon emails to clean up my inbox, but I have a few left, which I will show here. One is from before I changed my Patreon name, and if you could just blur it or something, and the other mods can confirm it's my name if they wanted that. Okay. No, but my pledge was supposed to get me once a month in the drawing raffle. Being the only one that high, I should have gotten one at least. But in reality, she only posted on Patreon once every few months until it ended. Never mind fulfilling the pledges. I just kept it because I was blind and I wanted a Discord role. I still hate that I even gave her money. She doesn't deserve that much for nothing. It was the equivalent of commissioning her. I'd consider it a scam. I would too, not gonna lie. She blamed it on the concussion, yet she still did everything else fine. Like, dude, you can animate a whole freaking video and not draw one picture? And she actively drew and posted to Instagram too at the same time. So she was able to draw, but just not doing the rewards that she promised. Seems kind of shady. You can see her Instagram post dates and her Patreon emails to me. Plenty around the times of those emails. Oh, and Twitter too, but she abandoned that. So basically, that interaction shows that Katsune did in fact not give out the rewards that her patrons would promise. I was even told by multiple people that she had not given them their rewards, even though they donated even higher amounts, like someone who I know that donated $50. Anyways, guys, Katsune really did all this. I really was right in my claim.
The evidence that Jesus was a patron is believable, but I haven't seen the proof that he didn't get the rewards. And because of his poor actions, he has faced a lot of backlash. And with that, do you think Foster would hold some responsibility? You know, try to defend himself or something like that? Yeah, he doesn't do any of that.
What we do here is go back.
Foster cannot defend himself, because he can't even be bothered to try and defend himself. He'll just link someone else's video defending him from a drama that he is responsible for. For example, 2 people made videos defending Foster through his whole The Odd Ones Out situation. To put it shortly, the odd one now called out Foster for being bad boy. That's the best way I can describe it without going into a huge discussion that could just warrant a video of its own, which I'm not gonna make. It's a huge hellhole in and of itself. The only thing Foster did throughout this whole situation was just say how mad he was.
Thank you guys for helping me through James's drama that had started recently, resulting in a ban from Daft Pina's server. I can honestly say that I actually really do hate James now. I know that I disliked him in the past, and then I felt indifferent, but now I am livid. So, maybe in the future there'll be a video explaining, who knows.
He just linked Undead Meow's video defending Foster in his Addressing the Drama video.
Anyways, like, if you guys want to hear some more about the James drama that's going on, I'll leave some videos down in the description below. Anyways, guys, I'll see you all in the next video.
And he linked Undead Meow's video and the Monday Show's video defending him in his Discord server. And when the whole Katsune controversy happened, 2 people made videos defending Foster. Well, technically one is a reading comments video and the other is an actual defense on him. Yeah. Remember that Addressing the Drama video that I just talked about like a few seconds ago? Well, here's a comment chain from that video.
You're possibly the worst storytime animated critic on YouTube.
Okay.
This isn't ironic either. You literally gave an apology just to plug a video defending you. That's some scummy shit. By the way, I know you're not going to respond to this because that's all you managed to do. A failed attempt at being cheeky. Because you can't formulate an argument to save your life. Get fucked, kid.
Actually, no, it explains the situation. I apologize for the misinformation.
No, you apologize to get out of it. Which is something you should never do as it immediately devalues any sincerity behind the apology. And with this apology, you did link a video of someone defending you, On top of that, the person defending you is claiming that the information is dated, so the only reason you apologize is because you didn't want to look like a hypocrite. Like I said, get fucked.
Why do you hate everyone? Were you not loved as a child?
You see, this is what I mean by not being able to argue to save your life. I'm guessing this is you conceding, so I'm done here.
Okay, I guess.
Congratulations, Foster. You just proved his point that you can't even try to defend yourself. Now, Foster, if you're gonna respond to this, you need to make the video. Not Undead Meowth, not the Monday show, you. You understand? I mean, it doesn't have to be a full-fledged video, it could just be a comment or something like that. You get it? Just don't do what you're doing right now.
What we do here is go back.
Foster is a great example of someone who tries to find anything bad to say about the person he's criticizing, even if those problems aren't really there. Whether it be just through outright complaining, to finding even the most vague of evidence and try to use it in his exposés. And when his failed attempts come back to bite him, he cannot be bothered to take any sort of responsibility, and just uses someone else as his shield, and being unable to form any sort of argument. Now, regardless of Foster's true intentions of his attempts at exposing people, one thing he surely won't be getting is respect. The only thing he's managed to expose is that he's a slanderous villain. Hopefully, this should teach you a lesson in what happens when you try too hard to find anything to expose someone. With all that being said, I say goodbye.